Happy Monday. Back in the shop here, working on the charger. Sad day today. I'll get into that in a sec. But I wanted to show you guys the prep that I've been doing to put this carpet in the car once and for all. Excuse me. It's these carpets are supposed to be, you know, for the car, but I don't know. I just don't seem like they don't fit very well, no matter what model of car you're working on. So the tunnel is where I usually find the most faults, and it just doesn't conform around the tunnel as good as it should. And I know they're probably semi-universal, but anyway, it leaves a lot to be desired. So I did see a trick on the Stay Tuned channel by installing this carpet tape, which is like a Gorilla brand. It feels like duct tape, but it's double-sided. It tears like duct tape. It's hopefully pretty good, and it says it's actually for carpet and a few other things. But so I put this double-sided tape down as carpet tape, just to help the carpet adhere to the tunnel and basically stay where I put it. So I'll probably take this side off first, put this down, and then roll it back, and then take this side off, and so on and so forth. But I wanted to show everyone that where I'm headed here. I did clean all this insulation down, and it's kind of got like black aluminum oxide on it when you put it in, so it's super dirty. But I hit it with some Glass Clean, that spray away stuff, which is really good. It has tons of different uses, so I highly recommend that stuff. Not sponsored, but it's a product I believe in. I use it all the time. But yeah, so gotta wipe this stuff down. It comes with an oily kind of stuff on the top of it. Not sure why. It's probably from manufacturing. I haven't put any of that carpet tape back here. I've seen a lot of guys put the back carpet down first, but I'm not sure where the delineation is supposed to be, because let's see here. This has, so you can see there's a finished edge on the back here. So this is supposed to be over the top. So this is the front piece, obviously, with the heel pad there. So that goes here, like this. I'm gonna put this out in the sun here in a sec, or right before I get ready to install it. But what I'm not sure of is how far up the back one goes, because there's two pieces to the carpet. So I will probably have to get another roll, because I used the whole roll just doing this. And I still have to clean this back part, but I wanted to get this front one in first, just to kind of see how that goes. And then obviously see the finished edge here denotes that this actually stays on top. So, and then the rear panel actually goes underneath. So anyway, that's where I'm at. So let's get going. All right, back on the carpet. So this stuff's been laying flat for a month at the very least. I put it out in the sun, and it actually gets a lot smoother. So I'm not gonna glue it in tonight, but what I'm trying to do is find some landmarks that just will never change, and try not to screw those up. But first and foremost, so my landmarks here are this hump for the 4-speed, and so that doesn't change. And I always like to kind of mimic the way I want to see the carpet end up, and that's always a loose guideline with this stuff. But the ankle pad, it's kind of hard to see. The ankle pad here, or the footwell pad, is pretty square with the pedals. And in fact, it's a little further than I would have thought, or a little further up rather than I would have thought, but I'm cool with it. I like basically not being able to see it from any normal vantage point in the car, unless you're looking for something wrong, of course. Then you would go like that. But even then, it's pretty high up. And what I was worried about is the overlap. So that you can see that there's juke padding here, obviously the insulation on the sheet metal, and then there's more juke padding under here, but only in the footwells of the back seat there. So, this Serengeti tiger there, he has locked this place down as his place. this spot basically right over there. So yay for me. It's the cat charger. Anyway, so I wanted to make sure I had plenty of overlap there. The juke padding is really just for the heat, mufflers and headers and whatnot, I guess. And but looking at this heel pad, I guess it's called, felt like it was square enough with the pedals. Going around kind of making sure. What I'm going to do before I glue this down, I have my 2 seat brackets that I'm going to actually bolt in the car and then glue. I've heard some nightmares about people doing that and then waiting on their seats. Then they don't come in, they're like, oh hell with it, just put the carpet down with glue, and it becomes a suspended seat. So as the carpet won't relax without the weight. So it's important that you get the weight in it and make sure that once the weight is on it, it's square. So that's why I'm taking so much time. Most people just spray glue and layer on, and it always ends up having to be redone by people like me. So now, got my buddy seat bracket. This is also a landmark that I have to pay attention to, because this one has a bracket going this way, and then there's a second right here that has like a U shape, like here, and that's the back of the buddy seat. So those are landmarks you can't ignore. They do index the carpet. Once you cut the holes, you're obviously married to it. You have a little wiggle room, but not much. So before you cut those holes, you want to make sure everything is square and plumb and all that ADD stuff, so, or HD stuff. And you know, the factory edges are rarely cut square, but it's nice to look down the edge and make sure you're not missing something. There's plenty on the front pad here to go on the sill or the rockers here, but I want to look over there on the other side. Looks like we just have, we'll just say, the fuzz hanging over the top of the sill. So again, we're kind of putting faith in our manufacturer, but which is never good. But it's just nice to compare it. Now make sure you're doing the same one, and there you go. So if this one had fuzz over here, it would be in this perfect spot. So, and you can see the back one, which I don't think is square, is way out. So I need to figure that one out. Look, weather seal. The guy that's making this video, well, editing this video, actually did it. And I couldn't be more pleased with his work. Most important part of any weather seal, the seam. And when you can barely see it, that's correct. Okay, so yeah, this guy here is not over far enough, so let's get you guys set up. Now if I just put a slight hole in these just to kind of keep this one in place, so I can shift the other guy. Get him close. I don't know if it came molded like this, but it seems like there's a bowl here, but I can probably get that out once I go through the brackets here. But I do know that the tunnel was pretty evident, and this little waterfall for the footwell was pretty evident in the mold of the carpet. So you really just kind of, there's no instructions to this stuff. You can go on YouTube and find somebody that's doing it, but I've found it just never quite perfectly matches what you're working with. So you kind of just gotta know the basics and throw caution to the wind when you think it's right. Because this is my first Charger. Let me tell you, I've never built one of these cars, and everything I'm doing on this car is new. Like, well, brand new to me. I mean, not only new age-wise, but it's, yeah. See that? And once you put the slits in for the brackets, it's locked down. So just kind of resist the urge until you get it as square as you can. I really need a bigger shop. And thinking about moving out of state, leaving California. And I've wanted to for quite some time. But my mom is the only thing here keeping us. Just gotta make do with what I got. Which means sell something. But one day I'll have enough room, like a guy like Derek Bieri has, just a big field. You can just put them all there, and when you're ready to pick, go for it. And I set my holes yesterday for the gas pedal down here, and so they're pre-drilled. And then the gas pedal bracket already had holes because I had mounted it to the car. But the lever, I had to get the pedal matched up just perfectly with the lever and the little wheelie dealy thing. So it came out good. The tricky part was the dowels at the base of the gas pedal were like this long, and there's no way to remove them to like mock up. So it was kind of a sketchy deal where you just, when you went through that length of those studs, you weren't quite sure where exactly it would line up in the corner, of course, because it's a gas pedal. So got those done. So what I'm planning to do is I'm gonna glue that stuff. This start basically at the tunnel down the center. I'm gonna peel that tape off there, and then basically start massaging this way, and basically until we're done with the tunnel ish, done close, got it stuck, in other words. And then I will probably not glue this until I'm completely happy with where it is. And it's also going to depend on when I mount the seats, because with the holes and stuff already put through the insulation, like the Coolit Tech stuff, the you know, all the protruding holes through the floorboard and for the seat belts. What I do is I take an old soldering iron and basically poke up through the carpet where it is. So I want to get it glued down real good. Or a lot of times I'll use an awl to go up, and then I'll push the awl back down and replace it with the soldering iron. So it makes for a nicer job, and then it cauterizes all the little loops so you don't get a run, which is super annoying. So I think we're getting there. Forgot to turn the camera back on, sorry. This guy, check that, the frayed end right underneath, almost disappears completely. What I like to try to do is use my finger here and just kind of stuff the white stuff back in from the cut. and it kind of takes your eye away from it when you do see it, and you're not depressed. Yeah, you just kind of got to split them between the two. So you're going to have slack over there, and most likely over here, definitely. Yeah, it's still going to be slacked up. And this bracket is one of the weirdest brackets ever because it goes this way for some reason, and it's brand new. Well, not brand new, but it's original to the car. I just drilled the spot welds out and transferred it to the new floor pans. Yeah, floor pans, trunks, rear quarters, valance, tail panel, corners. That is a lot of work, and if you want to know how to do it, check out my build series on basically doing all most of the sheet metal on the car inside the tub here. I always like to start with a small hole and just kind of go easy and start pushing the projectile, I guess you could call it, through slowly, just so you don't go cut. We're not supposed to cut. So I like to cut on both sides too, kind of even out or provide a little relief to the cut as you go. It takes a little longer, but it's safer because you get one chance. It's either a pass or a fail. Yeah, this one's got a shoulder on it. The tricky part is trying not to cut the paint off of your brackets while doing this, so you don't have to repaint those again. Yeah, I'm trying to keep this small because I think it'll just look better. Maybe not. We'll see. There we go. I scraped a little paint. You can hardly see it. See what I mean? Such weird brackets. I noticed he fits. I mocked it in when I was welding these brackets on to make sure it was going to be in the right spot. So this is definitely going to help our chances of getting this carpet nicely adhered to the driveline tunnel, or the tunnel. Nice. Yeah, I was a little worried about this one because it has ears that I cut a little too far, and kind of was hoping that didn't show. But it's gonna have a buddy seat on it. You won't see it. I didn't really screw anything up. It's just my can't leave well enough alone in just talking or thinking. So now that these guys are done, so we're permanently in place now. And in fact, these guys will help keep this carpet in place. So it's kind of a curse and a blessing having them here. I didn't want to touch the carpet until I located these and figured out where the carpet should be. So finally we're there. So this is where the carpet's going to be, generally speaking. But we're obviously going to trim that extra and fit it with glue, so it's a nice fit. This heel pad's going to have to be. It seems to be really flat. This is a tight corner right here, but I think I can stretch it a slight amount. Maybe take up some of this slack. See what I mean? I'm kind of a weirdo, like a weird bubble here when I'm already on the hump, like up here. In fact, there was jute padding missing in a square right here, but there's this. So whatever. It is what it is. Let me show you one thing here. I know you guys just love my camera work. So, is that the light? Yep. There, how about that? Okay. Oh boy. All right. So I'll push these guys down around here because remember there's a ring and a boot that go on top of this. So I've already made sure that there's holes in there, and thank you AMD for putting the holes in. I wish you did on my quarter panel and tail panel and all that stuff, but we're still cool, don't worry. So I'm going to push around at the base of this 4-speed hump. And what I do is I take a sharp knife, brand new, used for nothing else, and just go south, north, east. Okay, until you hit the hole in the sheet metal, and then west, which is right on this sheet metal. So each flap, you kind of take a little more out of, especially because there's no juke right there. I gotta get a head camera or a headlight thing. Dare I? Do not dare. Yeah, it doesn't work, does it, guys? How about this? Yeah, so back to my north, south, east, west. After I do an X, or at the very beginning before no holes are cut, I do an X over, and then I just extend those X's out after I poke this, whatever it is you're trying to expose through. And then it's easy to kind of trace in there with the steel, so it can't get out of round or out of whack. It just stops. essentially just cutting those 4 corners off, making it an open hole. Yeah, see, this juke is the stuff that you really can't cut. It's more just rips off. It's got fiberglass in it too, so be careful. This guy goes all the way here. How is it? It's almost 40 degrees outside, and I'm sweating. How is that? Well, that's just me, I guess. It's ridiculous. I want to keep this juke padding, though. It does do its thing for heat insulation and noise reduction. But it's a nice quarter, or nice square for now. And you know what? I can put my shifter in. Finally. See what I mean? So everything pivots off of one thing. And that's kind of the point I'm trying to make, is you get everything locked down in the center. It's like a sticker. You know, you have to start in the half and roll out one side, and then you start on the other half, roll out the other side. It's the same type of concept. Carpet just doesn't stick, so it's harder to work with. But I highly recommend, if it's fighting you, leave it out in your driveway in the sun for a couple hours. I mean, maybe even an hour will do it, depending on how hot it is there where you live. But it changes it quite a bit. And once you get these center landmarks locked down, those don't change. And you've got your heel pad where you want it, and your shifter obviously hinges off that, and then the buddy seat, excuse me, hinges off that, and that hinges off that, and so we've got even overlap, which is good. Our ends ended up being about the same, not perfectly, but yeah, it's always normal to cut one side off the other for weirdo humps like that. And you know, gosh, I hope this, once we get it glued in, I hope this calms down quite a bit. I think I can maneuver that, but it's funny. I've actually watched three different videos from 3 different guys talking about how this is kind of the ugly part of the installation on these carpets, and honestly, it looks like they just moved the hump too far back, but maybe it might just, it's compound angle, so I guess it's, I don't know. I would have done it in plastic and then carpet over it, but that's okay. But anyway,